This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, after 100 years, the Concordia College Business Center is getting a makeover.
Football players trade in their pads to tackle cancer.
See how Concordia's women's hockey team is staying on fire on the ice.
And see how headlines are made at MSU Moorhead's school newspaper.
Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Chelsea Smith.
And I'm Robert Swanson. A college in Moorhead that's more than a century old is getting a 21st century look.
For the first time ever, Concordia is getting a new home for its business program. Drive down A Street in Moorhead, and you can't help but notice the large construction site at Concordia College. It is the future home of the college's new Offutt Business School and Auditorium. The addition of the auditorium to the project was recently announced after a generous donation from the Berry Foundation. Dean of the Offutt Business School, Dr. Greg Kant, says the auditorium will serve different types of events.
Social activities, community events, things potentially after football games through to guest speakers.
The auditorium is going to be 8,200 square feet and accommodate 200 people. It is going to not only be a useful resource for the college, but also the community.
It'll be the gateway that brings people from all walks of life into a place otherwise they may not have been on Concordia's campus.
Students and staff are not only excited for the new auditorium, but for the long-awaited Offutt School of Business. The business department has been located at the old main building since the 1950s. The new business school will offer advanced technology in the classrooms, including 2 projection screens per classroom. Professor of Finance Scott Stradley says he is excited to have the new technology in the classrooms, but is still unsure what to expect.
You know, right now it's kind of like Christmas. You know, Christmas is coming. There's going to be something nice under the tree, but don't know exactly what it is. So there's a little bit of uncertainty as to what that present will actually be.
In addition, scholarships will be awarded to 4 students every year that show leadership and spirit in the business world. Chelsea Smith, Campus News. The Offutt School of Business is set to open for fall 2012 classes. In addition to advanced technology, larger classroom sizes are also a benefit to the new Offutt Business School. The rooms in Old Main are small, which make it hard for teachers and students to move around. Professor of Finance Scott Stradley says the new facility will provide much needed space.
It is tight for me to walk back into the classroom and try to get out to where students are is very, very difficult. Much more mobility in the classroom so that we can get up and move around and work in teams, work in groups and so on.
Stradley says students and staff alike are excited for the new business school to open next fall.
2 National Nursing Convention Award winners have ignited the passion of 2 Moorhead medical students in a way they say will better lives. Zach Denzer reports from the classroom at the Minnesota State Community and Technical College, where many nursing classes are held.
Melinda Thompson and Amy Lavella are 2 students studying nursing at MSUM. Both say they have high aspirations for the medical field and just as high of standards when it comes to patients. Even this one.
I think you just need to become comfortable with your own beliefs and then be open to other people's beliefs and know that you're doing what's best for them.
You have to not necessarily sympathize with the patients, but you have to understand where they're coming from, and without empathy you don't.
At 2 national nursing conferences, Thompson and Lavella were each given an award that covered the costs of their conventions. But both nurses say that the conferences provided them with something more than just a physical award.
I was able to network with a lot of nurses, and I got a lot of encouragement to continue forward with my career.
There was a lot of women there that had a lot more experience than I have, so I was able to learn a lot of things from them.
With a field intricately laced in modernization, Lavella and Thompson say technology is helpful but can be bothersome.
Electronic record keeping, you know, that's hard for the hospitals to get it implemented and then get everybody trained on it.
It takes a little longer for the nurses, but it helps with data collection and just general record keeping.
For now, training on human responsive mannequins is the only form of practice these nurses have. But as Lavella and Thompson begin to climb through the ranks of the medical world, these plastic dolls will soon become the real deal. With photographer Shoko Akiyama, Zach Denzer, Campus News.
Lavella says she plans on attending the University of Minnesota for her master's degree after graduation. Thompson says she hopes to become certified in geriatrics. With more students taking classes at MSCTC, the student body is outgrowing the school. Reporter Callan Klein shows us how the college is dealing with its expanding enrollment.
Here at MSCTC, enrollment has been on the rise. To meet the growing demands, the school has added a brand new 2-story addition, complete with classrooms and this brand new library.
And staff and students are calling a gorgeous addition to this campus, and it truly is.
MSCTC Provost Jerry Migler says the new addition could not have come at a better time.
We essentially had run out of classroom space. With the enrollment growth that we've had over the last 7 to 8 years, we simply were maxed out.
Administrators say space shouldn't be a problem in the near future, however. A total of 9 new classrooms were built. And Migler says they're full of students almost all day.
You will see most of our classrooms scheduled essentially full-time from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock, and many of those classrooms will be scheduled until 7 o'clock in the evening.
Local and state leaders came together to celebrate the addition.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, cut.
That some say has brought a fresh feeling to campus.
Students have said, this feels more like a college now because of this place.
The new library has also been buzzing with students searching for their new favorite spot to sit down and study.
We have students that come in already and sit in one chair. They've been here. You know exactly, if you see them walk in, where they're going to sit. They've found their places.
I like the new library a lot more than the old one. A lot more space so you can study and stuff like that, and actually not just be like cramped in a little teeny room.
And one spot seems to have become a hands-down crowd favorite.
At the south side of the library.
By the fireplace.
Exactly.
Yeah, by the fireplace especially. So I spend most of my time.
I do like to hang out around the fireplace too, but you know,
What
doesn't everybody?
It's Callan Klein, Campus News.
According to Provost Migler, the next big construction plan is a new wellness center. Minnesota was ablaze with politics this past week, and Moorhead was no exception. Students from the surrounding areas attended the 2012 Republicans of Clay County caucus. The event was held at Moorhead High School, and around 300 community members attended along with 30 students from Concordia and MSU Moorhead. Topics discussed ranged from party platforms to constitutional change.
It's really important for people our age to get out because we have the most time on our hands to get out and go volunteer. And when people are seen with younger crowds surrounding them, it's really important for the older people just to see that the candidate has a youth following. We actually have a much bigger pull than we think we do.
Rick Santorum won the Minnesota GOP caucus, as well as Missouri and Colorado. Delegates will be meeting tonight in the main caucus.
A semifinalist for North Dakota's university system has died. George Weathersby, a former CEO of Indiana Commission of Higher Education, died on January 23rd in Princeton, New Jersey. Weathersby was one of 6 semifinalists for the position. The head of the search committee for North Dakota's university system says they will interview 5 people and not replace Weathersby. A successor will start in August as Chancellor William Getz is retiring.
Local students and professors are using social media in classrooms like never before.
After the internet went black for a day, students are realizing how important the web is, not only for their social life, but for school as well. Reporter Christy Larson has more.
And I can see why a lot of students would be involved in it.
The student is talking about piracy. Google, Reddit, and Wikipedia are just some sites that went dark to protest bills Congress is considering. After the one day of darkness, Congress changed its mind.
That one dark day when over 10,000 sites protested, it showed just how much we depend on the internet.
We've always used Twitter and Facebook to promote what we write. It is absolutely where media is.
Some professors now teach students how to integrate their projects with social media.
When students have this in their portfolio and they graduate and they can go out and say, I've done this, it says to employers, I don't have to teach them to do this.
Students say they are happy the bills have been put on hold.
If that information would just stop flowing and just come to a complete halt, I mean, that would change everybody's lives now, especially for our generation, because everything is there for us. I mean, information for school, everything.
Christy Larson, Campus News.
Congress has put aside the SOPA and PIPA bills after backlash from individuals and groups. We may see them as toys, but for about 300 middle schoolers, Legos are a way to place in a World Engineering Championship. The famous manufacturers of the educational children's toys sponsored a robotic competition at the University of North Dakota. 35 teams of 14-year-olds displayed their engineering and creative skills. The theme for this year's championship was Food Factor. It focused on the different ways human food can be contaminated. The teams designed robots to try to prevent food contamination. They were judged on presentation, robot performance, and the design of their projects. The winning teams can qualify for the World Festival. In Latin, Lego means I put together, and MSUM students have done a great job in putting Legos together. Reporter Noor Alaman has more.
At MSUM, the Dragon Entertainment Group decided to take part in National Lego Day, just to remind the students to take a break and recall their childhood memories. One of the event organizers, William Cromwhite, says that Legos are a timeless tradition.
You can always play with Legos, I think. You can always build random things. I don't think it's just a kid's toy, I guess. I bet adults play with it too.
It's Legos. Legos have no restrictions.
A good example of adults who still play with Legos is Forrester Smith.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I just used to play with Legos a lot, and then I got older and I kept playing with Legos a lot.
Another student from MSUM was rather excited just by seeing the Legos.
Wow, that's beautiful. No. I saw Legos and I was like, this is awesome. So I decided to play Legos.
While most of us will still hate stepping on a Lego, we cannot deny that their colorfulness and shapes will still attract young and old. With photographer Aristide Sehrano, Nuran Umran, Campus News.
MSUM Dragon Entertainment Group is still considering whether they should make National Lego Day an annual event.
Growing up on a farm helped one area high school student excel at MSU Moorhead's Science Olympiad this week. Reporter Yvonne Soleil shares his story.
That's how we do it on the farm.
4 years ago, Norman County West senior Andrew Josand discovered he has chemistry with physics.
Boom! That was pretty straight.
He says his interest in physics projects has grown from working with his hands on the family farm.
Yep, I built it out in the farm shop and just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I didn't really plan it or anything.
Josand is one of more than 120 area students participating in the annual event. While many of his teammates demonstrate their knowledge in chemistry and biology, Josand's gravity vehicle and handmade tower are put to the test.
I won with my bridge last year, so it'll be interesting to see how I do with my tower today. All right, can I set up here? Go.
Okay, that's good. I know you've got well over 15 there.
I was pretty impressed with how the tower went. It didn't break again, so that was cool. We'll get to have it out at graduation. We had a lot of fun building it, and I've always liked building things, so it was pretty easy for me to get started.
With photographer Bryce Haugen, Yvonne Soleil, Campus News.
The Minnesota Science Olympiad is a program devoted to improving the quality of science education and increasing student interest in science.
MSU Moorhead art students took home more than just an experience from their trip to the Big Apple. 21 students went to study at the New York Academy of Art and now have their work on display at the Hotel Donaldson in downtown Fargo. Art instructor John Volk says it's exciting to see the changes in their work since their trip.
We were invited to put the show in the Hodo afterwards, which is it's a big deal. It's very exciting for us.
Some of the students are equally as excited to see their work on display.
It's just a great opportunity to just get our work out there and just for people to see what students are doing around here.
Their 4-week study included going to museums, gallery openings, and just soaking up the New York art world. Many lives are affected in some way by cancer, but those who have fought the disease have a perspective others may not understand.
MSU Moorhead kicked off its 5th annual Go Pink with the Dragons Week by inviting 4 cancer survivors to share their stories. Reporter Krista Bain has more.
The purpose of the event
has always been to raise awareness.
A full house at MSUM welcomed the 4 survivors to speak about their experience with breast cancer. Dr. Shelby Turstrip from Sanford Health talked about detecting breast cancer, while survivors like Abby Schmidt gave advice to those affected by the disease.
Don't time travel and take it one day at a time and lean on your family and friends.
Dr. Turstrip says all the stress these women and their families have gone through has helped them become stronger than ever. With help from support groups such as Embrace and Fargo Moorhead Breast Friends, they have been able to help other women and families struggling with cancer.
We also realized that there was lack of awareness of what was going on in the community. So things like this event or Relay for Life or whatever. I mean, we felt like the Cancer Center should be the hub of that information.
Go Pink with the Dragons Week is back to help raise money for the cause. All proceeds raised go to the Roger Maris Cancer Center and the MSUM Go Pink Scholarship Fund. The scholarship will be given to a student next year that has been directly affected by cancer. Although the events raised money, the overall goal was to raise awareness for breast cancer. For Campus News, I'm Krista Boehm.
The Dragons are trading in their usual red colors for pink. The MSUM Athletic Department showed its support for cancer awareness during its Go Pink Week. They had a series of events throughout the week, but the silent auction is one that brings the community and college athletes together. One of the auction volunteers says they always have a number of bidders.
Parents of players, friends, families, neighbor ladies, they're all bidding. It's just a great opportunity to give back, I think.
Wise says the pink basketball is the most popular and goes for about $100 every year. The basketball is signed by all the players on the women's and men's basketball teams. With the football season being over, MSU Moorhead football players are making their way from the field to the kitchen. Reporter Kiera Murphy tells us more.
Football players are taking orders, but not from their coach.
Men's coach wants, they're at 3 more orders. Everyone's having another round.
Some of the MSU Moorhead football team is giving a helping hand at the Go Pink with the Dragons pancake breakfast. One football player says he didn't mind coming out to help for a good cause, but his shift was a little slow.
I would have to say around 10 plates, so we're getting there.
The Go Pink with the Dragons pancake breakfast fundraiser first started 5 years ago. Assistant Athletic Director and operator of all Go Pink events at MSUM says she is happy with those who have helped.
It's really overwhelming to see all the people that become involved in this. You know, it touches so many people. I've met so many people that either have had cancer or have been touched by cancer.
The proceeds of the pancake breakfast are split between the Roger Maris Cancer Center and the MSUM Go Pink Scholarship Fund. The MSUM Go Pink Pancake Breakfast is only $5, and with that small gesture, many lives are impacted. Gloria Riopel says she hopes MSUM and the community continues to support the Go Pink with the Dragons for cancer awareness. With photographer Aristide Serrano, Kiera Murphy, Campus News.
No? Okay, it's $5.
Go Pink with the Dragons happens every February with a week full of fundraising events. And now we turn it over to CJ Pierre for a look at this week's sports. CJ?
Thanks a lot, guys. Determination, skill, unity, hard work. All the things it takes for a team to be successful, and according to their coach, all the qualities the Concordia women's hockey team possesses. Though things were rocky at the beginning, the Coppers say everything is starting to click. Reporter Macy Eglin has the story.
Not far behind hard work comes success, something the Cobbers have seen a lot of this year. The team has been ranked as high as number 2 in the Division III series with more wins at this point in the season than they've seen in past years. This year's group of women is different from most seasons, however, with more than half of the team being underclassmen. As they continue to become closer as a team, they've also become more successful, proving that it takes more than just skill to win in this sport.
Initially there was kind of a weird balance between the young kids and the older kids, and I'm really proud of how we've kind of like meshed our differences and come together, and we've faced some adversity together, and that's really helped us grow. And I guess that's what I'm most proud of, is our kind of respect and kind of our unity and chemistry in the locker room.
Recently the Cobbers faced Gustavus, a team that was ranked significantly higher than them. They were ahead 3-1 before their opponent scored 2 times in the last few minutes, ending the game in a tie.
You know what, it was a fantastic game to watch, and the fact that we lost the night before and came back and still continue to play as hard as possible. And some people are saying it's the best college women's series they've seen in a really long time.
The team's main focus now is to continue winning and secure their second place position. From there, they're hoping to make it into the NCAA tournament. With photographers Garrett Madison and Daniel Ziebel, I'm Mace Yagland, Campus News Sports.
The Copper women take the ice at the University of St. Mary's this afternoon. The puck drops at 2 o'clock. An NDSU golfer will be representing the United States in the World University Golf Championships this July. Junior Amy Anderson will be one of 5 golfers on the U.S. team. The 72-hole event is held in the Czech Republic once every 2 years. Earlier in the summer, Anderson will be competing for Team USA in Scotland in the Curtis Cup, one of the most prestigious events in women's amateur golf. Anderson has been named Summit League Golfer of the Year in both of her years with the Bison. For many athletes, competing in the Olympics is a lifelong dream. But for one coach at NDSU, that dream could soon become a reality. Eric Loeffler is an assistant coach for the Bison men's track and field team. He recently ran the marathon in Houston, Texas at the Olympic qualifiers. Though he failed to qualify for the Olympics in London this summer, Loeffler says he won't stop competing.
You know, this was a big step in achieving my kind of lifetime goals. I'm as motivated as ever to keep training hard and see what my body's capable of, see what I can do.
Loeffler still has a chance to qualify for the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Coming off of the winningest season in school history, the NDSU women's soccer team has a new head coach. Mark Cook is the former director of coaching at the Minnesota Thunder Academy. He held the position for 11 years and won 5 straight Minnesota State Cup titles. Cook is inheriting a program that is coming off a school record in single-season wins with 15 in 2011, but is also losing 10 seniors to graduation. Former head coach Pete Quadrado is accepting the head coaching position at the University of Wyoming. The 2012 signing day for the Minnesota State University Moorhead football team means 27 recruits intend to start their collegiate careers as Dragons. Of the 27, 1 already has a recent family history of winning national championships. Reporter Colin Boyles tells us the connection.
Here we go. Ready. The Dragons' second-year head coach, Steve Lockway, stayed local with the bulk of his first full recruiting class. Aaron, a 6-foot, 2-inch linebacker from Lincoln, Nebraska, is one of 6 newcomers not from Minnesota or North Dakota, but he certainly has strong ties to the Fargo-Moorhead area.
You know, I can tell you there's no way in the world as a father that you're going to let your son go someplace, particularly if you're a coach. You understand the principles of mentoring young men and where that program's headed.
That's right, Aaron is Aaron Bull, son of the 2012 FCS Championship Bison head coach Craig Bull. The young Bull chose to take his talents to the other side of the river from his father. Bringing him to Moorhead is a former colleague of Coach Bull.
First knew Aaron when he was just an ankle biter running around at youth camp at NDSU when I was the camp director there for the summer camps.
When asked if location to his father played a part in his decision to play for the Dragons, Aaron said, "My dad and I agreed, even if it was 1,000 miles away, we'd still pick MSUM." Colin Boyles, Campus News Sports.
Bull earned All-City, All-Heartland Conference, and All-Nebraska honorable mention honors in football as a senior. So it'll be interesting to see if Bull decides to skip out on any Bison games and attend some Dragon games, don't you think?
Yeah, I wonder if Coach Lockway is going to send any Dragon garb his way.
Well, guess we'll have to see him. Thanks, CJ.
No problem.
MSU Moorhead school newspaper, The Advocate, releases a new edition every Thursday. Campus News has an inside look at how The Advocate is made.
We have come a long way, I feel, from our early issues. I mean, all the page editors they're doing so well, and they've improved so much, and Charlie and I have too, I think.
Everyone really has a hold in their section, and it's really nice. I feel like I can really count on everyone who works here. Weekly schedule starts on Fridays, I guess, where we have our staff meeting.
Then we go to Monday, where we have the outside writers meeting, where we give the remaining stories to them. And then Tuesday, you know, we're here.
Usually everyone gets here around 4. Copy editors can get here later around 5.
It's kind of split up where we have our page editors, and they handle laying out and like assembling their specific pages. So opinion, features, A&E, and sports. We have the copy editors. They make sure that there's no errors. You know, they go through for all the typos or the grammatical mistakes. And then we have Jessica Fleming, our photo editor, who handles the photos and the captions.
It's really more of a collaborative effort because, you know, sure, I could go around and take, you know, 50 pictures, but then if those, you know, stories aren't going in the paper, then it's like, well, great, we've got 50 stories with no articles to go with them.
I'm the sports editor, so my job is to make sure the sports page looks as it should.
Me and 2 other copy editors read each page. I'll read it once, we'll pass it to the other person, they read it once. We hand it back to the page editor, they make all the edits.
And every once in a while they'll have like just a little bit of white space on your page and you have to do something with that.
And then finally at the end of the night, we send the paper off to the printers. We send them PDFs, and then they print it and send it to us on Wednesday. Wednesday nights, I get all the bundles, I go around campus. Thursday is kind of the official it's out day. That's our publication date.
Here it's like we're all kind of like creating something together.
It seems daunting, it seems kind of dull, but we actually make it pretty fun.
My favorite part actually is just the relationships you build.
Because we have a pretty good dynamic, you know, everyone has fun, but everyone gets their work done at the same time.
If you can't get a hard copy of The Advocate, read it online at www.msumadvocate.com. And that's it for this week's edition of Campus News.
We leave you with video of the heavy frost we had in the Fargo-Moorhead area this past week.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great week and happy Valentine's Day.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.